Everybody's okay.
Hey, everybody.
All right.
Nope.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting of the Extracurricular Committee to order. And if I could have a motion to approve the minutes from January 21st.
So moved.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, we will pass the minutes. Any old business, guys, that you want to bring up?
Nope.
Not at this time.
Okay, then we'll move on to new business. And Alan, is Bobby going to be coming later?
He's here.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
here now.
Okay. And did you explain to the student council advisors like what our spiel is here?
Yes, I think I tried to describe it that when we were inviting different people, different groups to come in and talk a little bit about and highlight their programs so that everyone gets informed of all the great things. Like, I think a lot of times this committee in all districts just focuses on high school athletics. Not that that's not great, but there's so many great things going on in kids opportunities and in the teacher's contract, quote unquote, all the extracurricular things are great for kids in general. So I did describe that, and I think they have some a small presentation and or discussion or whatever the topic is, kind of give some flexibility there. And in the previous email, I did share with them that policy that was discussed, that policy just as a tie-in to that piece, because I know in the policy committee that student government talk was there. And I think Mrs. Pennypacker, you're hoping to kind of verify that or see what's there, or if we're not doing it and have a good conversation.
Just so the advisors know, what we'd like to do tonight is just hear from you about your organization. And, it gives us a chance to meet all of you and have conversation and let you know that we care, that we love you. And then I do want to talk briefly about the policy 228 with the three of you and talk about getting your feedback on that. So if we want to go in the order of the agenda, Amy, you would be first, and I'm going to give it all to you.
Okay, great. I don't know if, can I share my screen?
I can allow that. I'm not a control freak.
Great.
Give me 1 second.
And Amy,
Yeah, you're good.
Amy, if you don't mind,
Sure.
at least for my benefit, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in the district, and
Oh, sure.
well,
I'm a Gemini. No, I'm just kidding. I love long walks on the beach. No, actually, I've been here teaching at the school for 25 years now. I always tell my students that's impossible because I'm only 28 and I'm going to remain that age forever. But I actually love teaching at Upper Perk. I was offered a job at Central Bucks West the same time I was offered a job at Upper Perk. So I had to make a choice because I live in Percy. So I'm like right in the middle. And I definitely made the right choice. Like, these kids are awesome. And when I volunteered for student council, because I always liked doing different things because I was in student council in high school and stuff like that. I didn't even know I got extra money for it. So that was like an extra bonus, but I was always willing and ready to help the students because, again, the students are awesome. And our student council president is on right now as well. Okay. So hi, Emma.
Yes.
And we also have our treasurer and secretary joining us. Awesome. So that kind of just shows you the kind of kids that they are, that they don't mind coming in, and they're super enthusiastic. And I think throughout the years, especially with student council, not just teaching, because I mean, I love teaching art and teaching art history and going on trips with students, but student council has always been a part of my experience at Upper Perk as well for the past 25 years. And it's mainly because of the student body and the administration and all the backing that and support that I get. So it's really been awesome. So I teach art as well, and digital photography and art history and AP studio art. So some of the students know me from as being a teacher, but then I know so many more just from student council alone. So it's, and with student council, the one great thing, as I'll go through my presentation, and I'll kind of start to share that with you.
Where did you do your undergrad?
I first I started at East Stroudsburg University, then I transferred down to North Carolina in Fayetteville and finished up there. So I lived in the Carolinas for 3 years. And then I did my master's at Kutztown.
Ah,
So,
okay.
and then
Well,
I got my science certificate as well.
oh, wow.
So,
Yeah, great. And
yeah.
did you grow up in the Percy area?
No, I grew up in the Poconos.
Oh,
So I went to Stroudsburg High School and was an avid skier. I mean, up in the Poconos, you're always skiing and stuff too. So,
you know Beth,
and I
do you know Beth Ross?
from Fred Ross,
Yeah, Fred and Beth. Yeah.
I was like best friends with his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
Beth was the athletic director for a number of years, and so Beth and I are good friends from being athletic directors. So
oh
yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I was at their house, and Heather Ross was a very good friend of mine,
Oh,
and
that's
of
cool.
course Fred Ross is you know, a legend
Yeah,
at
he's legendary. Yeah, for
he's
sure.
legendary up there.
Small
So
world.
yeah, and I loved field hockey. I mean, I played that for years and was
Mhm.
a avid sports player for field
Yeah,
hockey and track.
that's
But
awesome.
yeah, wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. I never knew that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but here, let me show you a little bit about student council.
Okay.
Can everybody see it this way, or should I make it full screen? Or do you guys think that's okay?
I'm fine with it. Are everybody okay?
You go, okay. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to show what student council has been doing throughout all these years. We are here for the not just one group. And I think that's what kind of sets student council apart a little bit is we involve the entire school. We're not one specific group like National Honor Society or, you know, just a senior class, but we're also here for the entire district and community as well. So in our constitution, like you were talking about as far as government, we do have a constitution, and in it, it says we are to support the student body, cultivate a climate of, you know, like school spirit and pride. And I definitely think we show that. We foster school and community involvement. We always tell our students to be respectful, responsible, to include everybody and show leadership. And we represent the entire student body, their interests, concerns, and needs, and promote positive student, community, faculty, and district relations. So we're just kind of here to, again, for the whole school. We do follow the Robert rules. So we do call meetings to order. So it really does help students kind of get a sense of how, even at a small scale, what a government would do, and, you know, taking votes and having them second in motion, just almost like what you did in the beginning. And we do need a quorum for any vote to pass. So anytime we do vote on money used for homecoming or anything like that. So that's kind of good, I think, especially to give students that may not see that in another setting, just kind of what that looks like. And again, we're open to all students. So with a student wanting to join student council, before, our constitution used to say that they had to have a C+ or better average, and, you know, some other guidelines. We actually got rid of a lot of those guidelines because we actually found that some of our students that may be struggling, especially in academically, might be artistic or still want to get involved. And we allow them to also join. And sometimes they're our most creative, or they'll come up with ideas or suggestions that we might not think of. So we do try to include everybody. And we average about 120 students. Of course, they're mainly juniors and seniors, and then the least amount is freshmen, but we still get a good amount of freshmen. And we always love to try to encourage that, because they're going to be the ones that kind of grow with us. And then they will soon be they could be a student council executive. In fact, Emma, how long have our Carrie or Caitlin, how long have you guys been in student council now?
I've been in since freshman year, and it's kind of nice because, like, without the grade thing, like, you have to ask for signatures. So like at the beginning of the year, you're like passing around and you're like meeting new people and you're like, oh, please sign so I can get on student council.
Yeah, and that's
So
the only
one
thing
I
that,
remember.
right, and that's the only thing that they have to do to join council is get signatures to promote them. They get one teacher signature and hand it in on time. So I'm like, if you have the gumption to get the signatures and get a teacher to sign for you and hand it in on time, I'm like, at least you showed the effort to join student council or want to join student council, so then they could get on. Now, during a normal year, we would have meetings almost every Wednesday after school, and we would take attendance, and then students would hand in like posters for different events. If they came and helped out at homecoming, we give them points. And if we saw a student that was doing nothing, then I would call them in and be like, listen, if you don't start doing stuff for student council, you're going to be asked to leave student council, and you won't be able to put it on your resume. Because I didn't want kids to just come in and, you know, use it for to show that they were involved in something when they weren't really involved. But I did want to give the opportunity for any student to have that chance. And so some of the things we've done over the past 25 years since I've been here, we've done a lot. And some of the things that are in bold, we do multiple times, but we've had everything from babysitting nights where the high school students would have a fun night with elementary school students, and their parents would drop them off for, you know, like, I think we were charging like $20 per kid, and we have movies and games, and then they went Christmas shopping. So the parents had some free time, or if they wanted to just go out and have dinner or something. We've done black light dances and the Halloween parade and a haunted hike, and of course homecoming and spirit weeks and everything like that. But we have done a lot of different things throughout the year, not just homecoming. And we also donate a lot of our money that we raise throughout the year as well, not just to things. The ones that are in bold are things that we've donated to the school or helped out with the school, including landscaping and projectors for the Audion and auditorium, but also like the Tsunami Fund, the one year happened, AIDS Fund, Cancer Society. So we try to kind of spread our wealth to different things. And the one year we even had, and we may love to do this again too, was called a Christmas Wish. And students wrote in about somebody they knew or a family or something that was in need. And then we either provided like food or donations to them as like a Christmas wish. So homecoming, which is usually awesome, one of my favorite things. And I think a lot of students really love homecoming because it involves everybody. It's not just like prom. So freshmen to seniors really could enjoy it. And it's really fun too, because even our decorating, we work with other clubs like the art club, National Honor Society, other clubs that want to help out, and we decorate, and then we have the pep rally. But this year was a little different, but we still did something, right? In fact, all of my council members were there, and we were really, really grateful that we were still able to at least have the court and have something for the families. So we got some nice pictures. It was a beautiful day, a little windy, but a really nice day. So at least we were able to have the student body still have our king and queen this year. We also do our Halloween dress ups, and we have our homecoming court in the whole Halloween parade. Unfortunately, of course, that didn't happen again this year, but it's nice because even our faculty members and stuff, along with the students, have a really fun day with this. And then we have our Christmas activities where we might have Balloon Man come in, which you would think a Balloon Man at a high school, everybody would be like, no, he is so funny and awesome. The kids love him. I love them. But we've even had faculty sing, and we have some very musical, talented faculty and staff that even one of the janitors came out was it last year or the year before, and helped played with us as well. So it was really kind of like whole getting together, and just a great couple hours where the whole school felt like a family. It was awesome. And then we have Spirit Weeks and Valentine's Day. Usually it's my Mr. Upper Perk characters that hand out Valentine's greetings to people. But I always tell them, and I even tell, because I think, Emma, were you an elf one year? Did you do that?
Last year, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I always tell them as they handing out candygrams, if you see a student that looks sad or special needs students or something, go ahead and give them one. Just make them feel special for the day, or, you know, just give them a lollipop or candy cane, and they light up. And the students are great. Our students here at Upper Perk are just awesome with making everybody feel included and have that spirit of, hey, I see you. Hey, I understand you. And here's something. And they always want to make somebody smile. And I think my student council members, especially my executive members this year, have always been like that. And here's some more of our crazy hat days and everything else. And then of course we have Mr. Upper Perk, which is a blast. So much fun. We've been doing this now for I think 10 years. And I mean, we see some crazy acts, but believe it or not, some of these guys actually have some real talent. We've had guitar players to, drum players, but then we've also had kazoo players too. So very funny night. The boys work really hard on making it a fun night for everybody. And then we also work with the National Honor Society at that time too for a clothing drive. So if you bring in bags of clothing for their clothing drive, you get a free raffle ticket, and then prizes are raffled out throughout Mr. Upper Perk. But we do like to work with other groups. We do like to collaborate, not just with National Honor Society, but like Perk Pals. We even worked with the art club to do an awesome mural. I don't know if you've been to the high school and saw the new mural that was up just I think it was like 2 years ago that we finished this. Really nice, and working with senior class officers for prom to help out. I really love the collaborative spirit, and the same with the teachers and other faculty members that support other groups. It's really this community spirit that we work together. In fact, we even student council made a whole outdoor classroom and worked together with EP Henry and Home Depot. And it probably would have cost about $30,000 for us to put in this outdoor patio and pond and stuff like that. We did it for $3 because we had students and stuff help, and it was really, really awesome. So this year we've been thinking of what we could do, and we've already met with our student council, of course, virtually. We're thinking about like having survival guides, like what helps during this time, maybe a movie night where everybody could watch a movie over the weekend and then discuss it on, Wednesday after school via Zoom. But of course, our students and almost every student and young teenager across America, they're dying to see each other again. So we're trying to brainstorm ideas for things that we could do in the spring when the weather gets nicer and all this snow stops, like outdoor tailgating, maybe buying a whole bunch of hula hoops, having them 6 feet apart, and a movie night or something, or a band outside, or just a DJ and hot dogs and hamburgers or something. Emma and Carrie and Caitlin could also jump into. We were just talking about this, so we're anxious to get back to normal. We understand that it's not easy, and it's not definitely going to be the way it always has been, especially this year. But I think especially for the 3 of them, because they are seniors, we're hoping to maybe do something different, something that we could at least get more of the people together. Because I know, like Emma was saying the one time, are you gold or blue, Emma?
I think I'm gold, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like she doesn't see the blue people that much. So even though they're in school, it's really hard for her to just see her friends and stuff like that. So
it's big talk too. Like everyone's just like, oh, when are we doing something? And we're like, we don't know. But so everyone's like patiently waiting for like that opportunity to come.
Yeah. And that's the one great thing too, I have to say about not only the student council members, but the school in general. A lot of the students have been very patient, very understanding. I mean, they definitely know and realize this is a very strange time. But we are willing to do whatever we can in the guidelines and definitely make sure that everyone feels included in the high school. So that is student council in a nutshell. Emma, Carrie, and Caitlin, you guys have anything to add that maybe I missed?
I think you did a great job, Lychak. I think you covered everything.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
Well, thank you, Amy. That is a fantastic presentation, and I didn't realize Upper Perk was that much fun. It sure is more fun than when Mr. Hipser and I went to school here. So we want to come back.
It's only because I wasn't here. It was just me.
Well, probably.
No.
I don't want to date you, but you did have my kids in student council, so you've been here long enough.
Oh, well, yeah, I finally had the students that are like, this is before I used to always have like, oh, you have my brother or sister, maybe even cousin or something like that. And now it's like, you have my mom. I'm like, but I'm only 28. It's not possible.
Yeah,
So,
let it sink in.
no.
But that is fantastic, and that was eye-opening for me. I can't speak for Mike or Dana, but that was certainly eye-opening for me. And the fact that you've relaxed some of the criteria for kids to be in student council is awesome. I think the more the better. So kudos to all of you, and I want to especially thank the students who took time out of their snow shoveling to join us tonight. So thank you so much for that presentation. Mike and Dana, do you have anything you want to add or ask or whatever?
Say that I agree with the relaxing of the guidelines, because I think the involvement in student council is really a springboard to success beyond high school. So it's a well thought out plan.
It's awesome.
And
Mike?
Dana and Peg, I would just say, if you've never seen the balloon guy, I forget exactly how I was in the building. Maybe I was just
You
there
saw him?
randomly. Yeah, I saw the balloon guy. Dude, balloon guy's awesome.
He's awesome.
It was I could, because Rob's like, you got to see this. And I'm like, the high school kids aren't going to be into this. And I went in and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, oh, this guy's really funny. And like, people were into it. There was a lot of energy. It's a great thing.
Oh,
So-
it's such a great show. And he is just the same backstage. Like, he is just this high strung and wired and all over the place, but he would meet with any kid that wanted to talk to him afterwards. He was even talking to a student that was like having a hard time at home, and he sat down with her and made her some big balloon thing, but was this like, don't worry, like he was so positive. But I never forget telling my student council kid, I'm going to have this guy that comes in, he does balloon animals. And they're like, what? Like, are you kidding? We're in high school. And I'm like, no, you're going to love this guy. And he's awesome.
When in normal times, when do you usually bring him in?
During the Christmas activities.
Okay.
So he's actually local. His name is John Cassidy. But he has performed his balloons. He's got the Guinness Book of World Records for the most balloon animals in an hour.
Wow.
And he's performed for presidents and been on Disney cruises and stuff like that. And I'll never forget when we had to get him clearances because he was going to be on thing. And he's like, I've had clearances by the FBI to get in to see the president. He's like, I think I got everything. We had to go back and get other clearances for him. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh, well,
Oh, it's so funny.
I will look forward to hopefully seeing him at Christmas this year. So put that on my calendar.
Yeah, he's great guy. Great guy.
Melanie, is there anything you'd like to ask or?
Nope, I'm
comment?
just enjoying hearing all of it.
Yeah, it's cool stuff for sure. All right, so Amy, can you hang around a little bit?
Yes, no
And-
worries.
And if the students want to hang, they're more than welcome to. But we're going to turn to the middle school folks now, and Kathleen and Cheryl, and let's hear what you're doing these days.
Oh, now I'm nervous following up after that.
Yeah, me too. Like, whoa.
I texted Stotts earlier and I was like, I'm nervous, even though I shouldn't be. And now I know why I was nervous.
I guess I'll start with us. So Rambo and I, this last year was our first year of doing student council. So we kind of weren't really sure where to go, and we just kind of went with it. So I think, Kathleen, can you share that, our slideshow?
Yep. Do you want to talk or do you want me to talk?
I'll talk. That's fine.
Okay. go ahead.
I'll let you talk whenever you want. So our biggest thing with student council, anytime we met with them or anything we talked, was be the kind person who makes a difference. We always talk that through them, be the kind you want to see. So that is our big philosophy at the middle school, especially how middle school kids can be. And, unfortunately, they're not the nicest until they mature a little better. So we're really trying to embed that into their brains and have student council go out and talk about these things. Okay, so that's really our motto. It's been our motto and it continues to be our motto. If you want to hit the next slide. So we started off with in October, we talked with the kids and, they're like, we really want to do a lot more than we've done. We're like, okay. So we did something. Instead of calling it Oktoberfest, we called it Socktoberfest. And the kids brought pairs of socks. And we didn't know where this was going to go, but we actually collected 500 pairs of socks that we dedicated to a homeless shelter in the area. And we're like, wow, so the kids really liked, that one. And then we had our breast cancer awareness, where we had our pink out day, and we raised money, and it went out for it's the girl fund for breast cancer. So we donated the money to that. And then obviously we had our first day with the help of Dr. Roche, our Unity Day. And, we hung approximately 1,000 kind messages. And you can see in the picture, we had sticky notes and we were posting sticky notes. We're like, please stay up overnight, And when the kids came in, they were able to either take one for themselves or put it on someone's locker or give it to someone. It had all great phrases. And I think that really went over. The kids enjoyed that one. All right. And I'll talk about the turkey trot. So we had our first annual middle school turkey trot. It was about a mile. They could either trot or they could run. We sent 6th graders at one time, 7th graders, and then 8th graders. I think it was the coldest day in November or the windiest day in November. I was freezing out there. I don't know how these kids were running in it, but they did. And as you can see, I believe this was 6th grade. They wore yellow. 7th grade wore a certain color, and 8th grade wore a certain color. And then everyone in the building could cheer them along on the side. And we actually wrote, and we had Giant donate us frozen turkeys. And the winners got a frozen turkey. And I have that picture hanging in the where the athletes are. We have the picture of them holding their turkey. And then 2nd and 3rd place, got gift cards. It went really well. Obviously, we learned, since it's the first time we did it, make sure you have water at the end, because the nurse got to see quite a few. They just needed a drink, and we're like, okay, make a mental note, water at the end of the race, and different things and mapping it out. But I think the kids loved it. I remember one of the secretaries coming in, there was a new student coming into the building, and the dad's like, oh, I can't wait for my kid to be here. Look what you guys are doing. And it sounded neat coming from someone that didn't even know this. So that was a hoot. That was fun. And then for Veterans Day this year, we actually honored some UPSD alumni. Mr. Weller's son was a veteran, and we videotaped all them, what it means to be a veteran and so forth. And we showed that over the announcements so that, kids get an understanding of, we actually have people in our district, in our school, that have been a veteran. So I think that was neat for them to hear. Do you want to?
I'm in on the season of giving. So the season of giving was like a huge undertaking for student council last year, but we really have to give credit to the Leo's Club, who we worked with, and to the SAP team members. But it was like so multifaceted, and we ended up gathering more than 3 tons of goods that were donated all to the open link. Kim Baradin did an excellent job coordinating with them, finding out what exactly they needed. So the picture that's on the screen is what went out to the kids and the homeroom teachers. So as they brought things in, they were able to fill in and color their candy cane. I think we had about 90 to 95% of homerooms fill a candy cane or more. I think the winning homeroom at the end, who got a pizza party, had like 18 candy canes filled. It was, kids were so excited about it. But yeah,
it became a huge competition.
Yeah, they loved it. So not only did we get 3 tons of goods to bring to the open link, which really was helpful, especially because we went on lockdown in March. So I know those were definitely used, but we also, part of it was we used money from the turkey trot to buy gift cards. We had families donate gift cards to help fill up the candy canes. And we were really able to give back not only to the community through the open link, but directly to families within our school district. So the kids did an excellent job, and I'm hoping next year we can do it again. And then in December, we also did the candy cane grams. So students could send out nice wishes to their peers, to their teachers. That was a big hit, and we used that money for the season of giving too. And then January, we did the time capsule with student council. So we did a lot of surveying the students of what was popular at this time. I think someone donated an iPhone, and I don't know, stats. I know that you know more that went into it. I think we
did,
put some of the
yeah,
Eagles
we
on
did
the
a Tosco menu. We put a Tosco menu in there. We put the local paper, the Time and Country, the Grand. We've got a ticket to put in there. I think something with Dairy Queen. So we kind of, they all grab things that are really common right now to put in that. So whenever they tend to open, to see if that establishment's still there, and hey, look at this. This was the newspaper, and so forth.
It's also a little known secret that Mrs. Siegfried put a pair of her shoes in there as well.
Oh, did she? Okay.
I think
She
it was
probably
the
stuck
yellow
that in.
ones, Christine. I'm not quite sure, but yeah.
You mean my yellow pants? Yeah,
Yeah,
put my
that
yellow
too.
pants. on.
Yeah, yeah.
Bigger question is, was there a power cord for the iPhone?
I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think so.
I know.
'Cause
I found
they may
my
be non-existent
original-
when that gets
Yeah.
open again.
That's true.
I know. I found my original iPod, and I'm like, do they even make these cords? I don't know. But then our
and then-
big event in January was
Yeah.
the snowball dance, and it was not only a success with just student feedback, and we had very high attendance. If you were there, it was high energy. The kids really liked it. It was nice that they could have a place to hang out that was safe for them, but it also gave us a large fund to use to give back, which we had plans for last year that we can talk about a little bit later. Those didn't happen because of COVID, but it's actually been nice this year to know that we have that money. And not that we're collecting from anyone this year, but it's nice that we can do things and give it back to the kids and give it back to the families. So I anticipate hopefully doing another one of those in the future. And then in January, we did the Great Kindness Challenge, which we did the district-wide spirit days. We did announcements, word of the days, quote of the days. We did a kindness reward system from staff. We had a photo booth set up outside of the cafeteria so kids could dress up. They wrote kind messages to friends about each other, and we took photos. And I know that they always like seeing them played on the announcements. So Mr. Folks played an important role last year and definitely this year.
And then what we were planning on doing as our first March Madness, it was going to be a hot shot contest, and it was all set up and we were collecting, and then unfortunately we couldn't do that. So we were going to have the kids, during since March Madness is a basketball and we just did our basketball unit, we were going to let them shine, and anyone could participate. But unfortunately we weren't able to do that, but that's something in the back of our minds to include and have them do, hopefully next year.
And then just some ideas that the kids last year had come up with. We were looking into doing a talent show in the spring of last year. They were really looking forward to their 8th grade dance. And then again, with having those funds, they had thought about doing something fun on field day, like sponsoring a Kona ice truck for the school or something like that, just to, I think our goal really, like we talked about it in the beginning of the year last year, like this was a new school building, new way of doing student council, and we got to set the tone and the culture for the school, and we wanted more involvement. Clearly, from seeing what the high school does, we want that to start at the middle school so that they go to the high school and they're even more excited to be there. So we're kind of hoping that as we move forward in student council, that we create more opportunities, like seeing that list from the high school. Amy, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to turn it over. We have one of our student council reps with us, Morgan O'Hara. She's our 7th grade class representative. She's excellent. She's involved in Leo's club. She does it all. So you can take it away and talk a little bit about what we have done this year.
It's definitely been harder this year because of COVID, because we haven't really been able to like do a lot of things or in-person things. So we've had to do everything virtual. So our ideas are like kind of unique compared to like last year's stuff. So for October, we had Unity Day. That we wore orange, and some people sent in pictures and they were posted on the announcements. In November, I made this slide that was sent out to all the students. In ELA, I'm pretty sure, the teachers had the students write down what they were grateful for, and there were a lot sent in, and they were all posted over the announcements around Thanksgiving for about like a week. In December, I'd say this was the biggest thing that we've done so far. This was the Bake Off, and we had a competition with a virtual Bake Off where we all made Christmas or holiday themed like baked treats, and the student council, we voted for winners. I think it was the top 3 for gingerbread or cookies, cakes, and then the staff. In January, we had the Great Kindness Challenge. For that whole week, we had spirit days. We wore orange and had like hat day, and we also did spirit day for the school. And then Mrs. Rambo also made a slide about kindness, and every student, I'm pretty sure, described what kindness meant to them. And all. Then for February, the student council, we wrote 5 to 10 slides, and we printed them out and gave them to the Pennsburg Manor, the nursing home, to brighten up their days. And also for the Great Kindness Challenge this year, we filmed videos of ourselves, each student council representative, president, and vice president. We made videos of a word representing kindness and what it meant. And that's really like what we did this year. Again, it was hard to come up with ideas and things because of coronavirus, but that's what we did.
That kind of sums up what we've done so far, and I think we're also looking forward to things returning to some sort of normalcy and doing some more in-person activities. But Amy, you have a good group coming up. You certainly do.
Mhm.
It's awesome.
You got a good group from last year too.
Yep.
Yeah, the kids have always amazed me. I've just, every year there's something new, or it's the one thing that keeps me 28, that keeps me young. These guys have just always been awesome. And Morgan, I look forward to working with you sometime.
Morgan's great. She made those slides for us, and looking forward, at least we have another year with her in 8th grade.
Yeah, we'll hold on to her.
So if I could just comment, I really want to thank Stotts and Rambo and kind of recognize them for stepping in. When we had a teacher retire, nobody really came forward to be the student council advisor. And so I had to twist some arms, but they agreed to co-advise that. And they've just done a wonderful job. They've kind of taken the vision that I had for student council, where kids are involved. The kids are the ones who basically come up with the ideas for the activities. There's a lot of student input into the things that we have done, and it just becomes a real positive influence for kids and our overall culture in our building. So I really want to commend them for what they have done, and I look forward to the things that we're going to be able to do in the future.
Yeah, I'm in awe of all of you, and I'm just amazed at what you do and continue to do. And as Mrs. Siegfried said, what, the ability for the kids to come up with all of these cool things to do really is refreshing. And again, middle school was not this much fun when Mr. Hipser and I went to middle school. So, but thank you all for everything that you do. This has been an enlightening presentation, and I would just like to plant a seed at this point in time and suggest that somewhere down the road soon, probably not this school year anymore, but maybe next year, we bring the three of you and the students into a board meeting and have you present to the full board. Because I think the full board needs to understand and realize what you do, because it's quite amazing. So I'm going to plant that seed right now, and hopefully that will come to blossom. Before Mr. Hipser and Mr. Elliott, do you have anything? And Mrs. Cunningham, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I just wanted to ask about the numbers in the middle school. It is open to 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Correct. We do meet after school, but what last year was really nice, we have that perk period, and they were able to sign up for that during there. And we got a lot of numbers, and it's great to have that perk period to really think and have time to work on things, because, you know, after school with middle school, you know, one's going this way, one's going that way, and so forth. So it was really nice to be able to work on ideas and do things during perk period. So yeah, it's offered to all grades. And we did something different this year. You know, before we always, it was 8th grade, you know, where all the officers, and we kind of got rid of the officers. I mean, we have 8th grade, we have the president and vice president. And then this year we did a 6th grade representative, a 7th grade representative, and also an 8th grade representative, because I think it's important to hear what 6th grade has to offer, 7th and 8th. So they do have someone speaking for their grade. So we did change that up this year.
That's great. That's awesome.
I just
Anyone
want
else?
to say I can't believe all the enthusiasm, and thank you.
Mhm.
I'll be happy to see you at a board meeting.
As long as we
Yeah,
can
I would
coordinate
love
the
that.
board meeting, if we can coordinate the board meeting with the balloon guy, that will be.
Yeah.
You're always a step ahead, Dr. Roche. Mr. Elliott, anything to add?
Yeah, no, I just want to say, because last year I had 2 middle schoolers, and no, some of the stuff they did was cool. I mean, it was neat. Quinn actually did the turkey trot. That was him in the back because he's slow. No, I'm just kidding. But no, they do a lot of really neat things. I know the dance was a hit because Quinn and a lot of his friends went and had a good time, and they said it was silly. And so the excitement that they bring is really great, and it's neat to see kids. And Morgan, I know you've had like a ton of classes with Quinn, so I know who you are. But to have you speak in front of us tonight, if you're still here, was really awesome. She really is an amazing kid. She really is. So no, the middle school is doing a great job. It's
Great.
neat to see. Neat
Great.
to see for sure.
And all of what you talked about tonight, folks, is really a indication of what our culture is like here in the school district, and to know that it is so positive, and it's just I'm just so delighted at hearing all of this, and I really appreciate all that you do and appreciate the students. Before we let you go, I'm assuming that Dr. Roche shared with you the board policy number 228. And we wanted to bring it to the three of you for review, because at the last policy committee meeting, we had a pretty in-depth conversation about this policy. And one line in particular, which falls under authority, the second line reading, "The board will recognize the student council as the official voice of the student body." And that line generated a lot of conversation. And there was some debate as to whether or not to keep that in the policy. So would the three of you mind just reviewing the policy? And if you're okay with me reaching out to the three of you to get your feedback about the policy, would that be doable for the three of you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. We would really appreciate your input, because we certainly value student government, obviously, and all that you do to that end. So I will be contacting the three of you, in a week or so, and solicit your input on this policy, if that's okay. All right.
Sounds good.
Great, thank you. And let's see. Well, Amy, if you see Beth Ross, tell her I said hi. And, and Mr. Elliott, Mr. Hipster, Mrs. Cunningham, is there anything else you want to comment on before we dismiss everyone? All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And Mrs. Siegfried, thank you for being here as well. It was so nice to see you. And to the students who I can't see right now, but thank you all for being here. We are here to support you. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We value so much what you do, both in the classroom and beyond the classroom, as what you're doing is an extension of the classroom. So thank you so much. And thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule and shoveling snow to be with us tonight. Take care. Okay, we're going to proceed and ask Mr. Kurzweg to please appear magically. There he is. And Mr. Kurzweg's going to talk to us about the NFHS network. And I'm going to leave it to you, Bobby, to take it away and share with us the information that you have.
Sure. Good evening. Dr. Roach asked me to come on and talk tonight about the overall aspect of the NFHS network that we've installed last spring/summer. 3 cameras, the one in Keeney Stadium, the one in Tribe Stadium, and the one in the high school gym. So I think overall it's gone very well. We had a couple glitches in the fall with the 2 stadium cameras. Basically, I think from the Wi-Fi and the point-to-point contact was a little bit overwhelming. And with the nation all going to a streaming platform, I think the NFHS network kind of got in a little bit over their head with, all the technology and all the support that they needed. Things have been much better this winter. I think our camera indoors is phenomenal. And I think that has a lot to do with it being hardwired compared to being out far away in the stadiums being a point-to-point contact. So the camera inside, it has been really, really good. The coaches and the basketball and wrestling coaches really enjoy having it, that they can, basketball coaches have all their practices recorded as well as all their games and all the matches for the wrestling. So I do, we talked about looking to do something in the pool at some point. I do think it would be something that we would definitely be interested in doing in my view, having an additional one in the pool. Since we have water polo and swimming, it's a 2-season facility. I think we could really get away with adding an additional camera there, which would be beneficial for our swim programs. We have been streaming through Facebook. In the fall, water polo, the coach used his phone and sat there recording. And this winter, I was able to purchase a small Mevo live stream camera that we have used that has worked very well for what we needed it to. So I do think they've worked out very well. Hopefully we are back to some type of normalcy next year, but with how small our pool is, if there are mitigation concerns again, having that camera could be definitely a benefit if we're going to have to limit spectators for another year.
Yeah, if I can add on to that quickly, because I know Bobby and I talked about it, and I think I put it in one of the emails, either to you, Peg, as we were talking about this item, that I think the cost for that additional camera is $5,000. And the way we got the other 3 cameras was you buy 2 for 30-something hundred a piece, Bobby, and then you got the third for free. So it seemed like we bought at the right time to get the package for the 3 that are there. And according to Bobby, we're one of the few, not that that's wrong, because it's sometimes good to be the pioneer, that did purchase the $3,000 license for, in essence, for our fans to watch from home, which I think honestly has held back a lot of the complaints, let's say. But it has, but it's also not perfect. So we get it. And real quick on a side note, I'm happy to say that Bobby was able to work with the county. So our senior basketball, senior wrestling, and our seniors heading into this final season will get some sort of parent senior night, their final game here in the winter. Anyway, I digress. So the question is, are we budgeting for the use of that $3,000 to purchase that license again next year? We'll again, as if we're back to some sort of normal or greater capacity, it may not be necessary. Bobby shares that very few schools have done that, which is why I said maybe we're just out in front. Because if we're going to put in a $5,000 camera potentially in the pool, are we then going to pay $3,000, or are we going to convert that? Because this is a great gig for NFHS, right? We pay for them $5,000 to put a camera up, and then parents pay $12 a month or $60 for the season, or $3,000 for all of us to watch that. So I look at the pool as no different than I look at the stadiums, because there's 2 seasons in the pool, there's 2 seasons in the stadiums, there's 1 season in the gym technically. It just got 3 sports going. So I think it's all, I don't see any difference in that. And the middle school's off the table because they only do varsity sports right now. Unless that is, and I talked to Bobby, if we ever did officially start volleyball and that happens to be our home volleyball court for a varsity sport, could that be another option? I don't know the answer, nor do I know if he knows it, because I just asked him that 2 days ago. So anyway, a lot to consider in terms of the amount into the pool area. Again, 2 seasons, but are we going to continue with the purchase? I don't know, Bobby. I had asked if there was any way to get any readability and or membership accessibility into how many people, did we get 100 hits for the football game and 3 hits for this match, or is there any of those metrics around?
Yeah, I reached out to the NFHS network and unfortunately didn't get that information back yet. But I do agree. I mean, the $3,000, we're the only one in our league, and actually being a District 1 committee member now this year, I've not heard from anyone else in District 1 who actually did what we did, which is a great thing. But I think that adding that camera to me would be beneficial. And we do get a small kickback from those fees of people that are buying subscriptions. It's not a lot, but there is a small kickback from those subscriptions that the school district gets. But it is definitely, it's come a long way. The NFHS network, I think, is probably the best one out there. Quickly, a bunch of other ones, Ms. Pennypacker, the word huddle, they quickly jumped on trying to do, I think they called in-game or play in, and their cameras have been a mess, not working at all. So I do think, that there are some positives that we've done. We did get a great deal last spring, kind of ahead of the game, and $5,000 is traditionally what they are charging for the camera with installation. So it's a good chunk of money, but it's definitely something in a 2-season facility that would be nice.
And Bobby, did you say the coaches are using the NFH system? I think you said the indoor coaches to analyze players and things like that, similar to what Huddle would do. So, and we have Huddle. So, is it, are we overdoing it a little? I mean, do we need, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we actually bought a program last year called VidSwap, which is basically Huddle. And the nice thing is VidSwap actually works with the NFHS network. So the package that I was able to buy for this school year allowed all of our high school teams to have that breakdown capability. Huddle to do that would have been about $12,000, I think, when I spoke to someone at a conference. VidSwap was much better. I'll be honest, I don't know how much our fall coaches used it with everything else that was on their plate this year. Our basketball coaches are absolutely using it and are loving it. So I would imagine, knowing Coach Kalnowski the way I do, he would love any type of breakdown. And VidSwap is still new into the game, so they don't break down all the sports. Basketball is obviously a big one that uses a lot of film and a lot of breakdown. So they were all over that. So I do think the package that we purchased, while I think it's very good for it's kind of the next step for our athletic department when it comes to educating and teaching our student athletes, got a lot of use this winter. And I think we have some fall coaches that would use it. I just don't know how much they use it with everything else going on this fall.
And just so I'm clear on the cost. So we buy this other camera for $5,000. We're paying a $3,000 a year kind of subscription, so to speak. Do I have that right?
If we choose to, you do not have to do that.
Well, here's the question. If we buy this camera, and then we already have the cameras that we got last year, and then we eventually decide not to renew the subscription for $3,000, now we have these cameras. What do we do with the cameras?
Well, it's not so much the subscription is the $3,000 subscription is to allow all of our games on our cameras, regular season home games, to be broadcast for free. So just because we would not do that subscription, everything would still be broadcast. You would just need to buy a subscription to be able to watch those. So, for example, while it is awesome for Mr. Elliott as a basketball player, he could watch all of our basketball games at home this year for free. But when we go to Norristown and they have an NFHS camera, he would have to still have a paid subscription to be able to watch that game.
Okay.
So the two don't really coincide. Buying the extra camera, we will always live stream our games. That's part of the contract we have with the NFHS network. It would just be that everyone would need to purchase either a monthly or a yearly subscription to the network.
And if I could ask you to look in your crystal ball right now, and now let's say we're fast forwarding and we're past COVID and we're kind of back to normal. Do you see a future in continuing to live stream?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think it has a lot of more notoriety for our student athletes. I know a lot of college coaches are buying subscriptions, and in some cases are being given subscriptions by the NFHS network to go out and recruit this way and scout this way. Obviously, in person is still the best bet, but I think it gives some more publicity to our student athletes that they're able to get notoriety, seen that much easier on our facilities.
Bobby, if I pay for the subscription, the monthly subscription or whatever it is, for my upper perk basketball player, do I get to see their home and away games?
Yeah, you could, when you get a subscription, you can actually see any event in the nation. Like sometimes I'll go on, and the other morning at school when I was setting up our cameras for the games, I watched a high school skiing meet in Colorado.
Okay.
God, get a life.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there a
So
lot of
yeah,
cheering going on?
Yeah.
How do you watch a ski match?
Yeah, it's like you saw in the Olympics. They had a camera up on a pole, and every once in a while you'd see someone come down. So I do think, there's sports people out there that I'm sure, even with having our games being free, I guarantee there's some of our community members that bought that package so that they could watch away games and they could watch, a bunch of different things.
But even with our package, it's just home regular season. It's not any playoff games if we hosted them as well. So it's it's on the shorter side in terms of that. So that's just a part of that.
Correct.
Dana,
Sorry.
Dana, go ahead. You have a question?
I didn't realize that the $3,000 subscription covered the whole year. I thought it was only like football. So I could still see home basketball games. Is there still some home basketball games left?
Yeah, we have a couple next week. We have last girls game is Saturday morning. And next week, we have 3 home basketball games and a wrestling match because of random shutdowns and weather and all that type of stuff.
Is there a maintenance fee? I know the $5,000 installation fee, but is there an annual maintenance fee then for these cameras?
No. Nope. It's kind of like a lease process. And if there's damage, everything is on them. Like I said, the tech support was a little iffy in the fall just because they were so overwhelmed. We've not had to deal with them a whole lot this winter because our camera has been really, really good. But they have come out and, hired more tech support. There's now certain, regions are in a certain team. And, from the people that I've been hearing from that are still having some issues, that they're saying it's getting better than it was in the fall. It still needs a little work, but it's kind of the new wave of the future. I think it's very good publicity for student athletes. And like I said, with all the college scouting and recruiting that's going on in today's world, I think it's beneficial.
Dana, any more questions?
Well, the vid swap, that is something that you have to pay for each year though.
Correct.
That's coming out of the athletic budget?
Yes.
And how much is that, Bobby?
I'd have to go back and look. It was something they were running in the spring last year with the deals going on with a lot of people putting the NFHS network cameras on. I want to say it was something like $1,500. But like I said, and Ms. Pennypacker, Huddle is extremely expensive, and it's something that I've wanted to do as, the next step in our athletic department, and it's just not feasible. This is pretty much giving us exactly what Huddle does at a very reasonable cost.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Dana, any other questions for Bobby?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, Mike, do you have any questions?
My turn. I love the idea of live streaming games, and I think that the future is. I think Bobby's right. I think the future is more of this, because I know just from my experience, like my parents would try to pop in, and granted it was hard to watch some of the water polo games, but they would pop in on the Facebook and watch, and I think with as we use social media to keep in touch with friends and family in a way that we weren't able to before, the ability to see, like, my nephew play a soccer game, like live stream when I normally wouldn't, is pretty dope, right? Like, it's pretty exciting. So I think the opportunity is there. And to Bobby's point, I think it allows us, to showcase some of our athletes, as that need arises, because, invariably, we'd like to build up the athletic program here. And I think this is part of it. And just speaking from a coach's perspective, I've recorded some of our practices. I've recorded some of our games to be able to go back and watch them. I mean, like, I could pop on right now and watch the boys game at Methacton on the NHFS network. And that's pretty dope. Like, to be able to go back and watch your games and see the kids and how they, it's a part of the evolution of sports to make you a better athlete, to dive in. And I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, but I love the idea of live streaming, of keeping this ability, especially because parents can just pop in. The games are already live streamed. It's not like we always have to pay the $3,000, although I think doing it was a brilliant idea. And I would argue, that a camera should go in the pool. I mean, we've got boys water polo, girls water polo, boys swim, girls swim, right? We got 4 different, activities that go on in that pool. And those teams are pretty good. I mean, the girls won the small school state championship in water polo. The boys finished 3rd. The boys swim season just finished 5-0. Rock on. So might be kind of proud about that. Excited. But like we've got some good athletes in that program. We've got boys and girls, and I think it's a worthwhile investment. So I'm excited about the future of streaming sports and recording practices, and I think it's dope. So I'm all on board.
Okay. Yes, and it's also friendly to the aging community, like me and Bobby's parents. So, Melanie, is there anything you would like to ask?
No, I think I'm good.
I think one of the nice things, sorry, Dr. Roach, one of the nice things too, is like you said, Ms. Pennypacker, not only the aging community, but alumni, kids that go away to college or graduate from college and don't live. As good as the NFHS network is, it's not perfect. Every once in a while you'll get an email and say, hey, could you let the person know who's doing the filming that they need to follow the ball more? So you explain to them, there is no one filming. It's an algorithm that they follow and it's sometimes it lags behind and then it catches up. But to me, someone was a whole lot smarter than I am to be able to sit down and make a computer program to be able to follow action like that. It's pretty amazing, the technology.
And NFHS it'll get better.
Correct.
They're committed to that whole system, and it's
correct.
Gonna get better. Yeah, Dr. Roach.
Yeah, all I was going to say was there's two separate things here. One is the timeliness of the decision. Obviously, this is not if the recommendation here is to move forward and it's able to get put into the budget and goes through that process or whatever the process is, we're not going to have it in for the end of swimming season. That's unrealistic. We probably wouldn't even if we pushed it, we wouldn't have it in for the end of baseball, softball season. So timing is important, knowing that the water polo is the fall. So that would be something to keep on there. And I don't think we need to make a decision on the $3,000 for the cost of the subscription at this point in February. We still have, we have time to go through the rest. I guess we'll have some spring sports in the stadium. And then I'm assuming, Bobby, that could be re-upped in mid-August or something like that if that was something we didn't quite know about right now. I don't think that's pressing. I just thought to bring it up at the same conversation so we had all that on the table, because if we decided to not move forward with the 3,000 at next year or whenever, that's why I think we talked about the positives all around for that system in general. So the two are separate.
Well, just a quick question, Bobby, is this something that you can absorb in the budget, or will this be something that you have to add on?
It would probably be something I'd have to add on.
And all of
Um,
it, or just a portion of it?
There's a chance, depending on where things fall yet this spring, that I might be able to have, excuse me, some of it come out of my budget from this year.
Mhm.
But I would need to really kind of do some numbers about that. I'm a little hesitant just because of not knowing exactly. I think transportation is going to be challenging this spring. Excuse me. So I would need to really look at that. But and I agree with Dr. Roach. The $3,000. I don't think we need to jump on. We could make that decision next school year. I would say if we do think we're going to go the direction of the camera in the pool, I would think that we'd probably want to get that to NFHS sooner than later. They just got back to me. I think I told Dr. Roach maybe 2 weeks ago that they're now just being able to install additional cameras because they've caught up for being so far behind, that I would hate to get caught into a position where we say we want it and the board feels it's a good idea, and then we're not getting it installed till November or December because that's how backed up they are. So I that's just throwing it out there. Either way, is great, but I think that's a real concern.
Okay, I think you have, if I'm reading the general consensus of this group, that you have the support of the committee to move forward with this. And yeah, I think it's a good thing. So Melanie, is there anything else you wanted to add? Are you good?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it is a good idea. I wasn't originally in favor of it, but then we have this whole COVID thing going on, so it's a lot better. The thing that I want to make sure that we do say is about the fact that the board paid for the $3,000 membership so that we could get all the home games in. But I think, and I wasn't aware either, that sorry, I can't hear myself, that the families could get a lot more out of doing it themselves and paying for the subscription themselves.
Same here.
When they get the away games wherever they have them, the cameras as well. I just want to say that out loud.
Perfect. All right. Mike, Dana, anything else before we dismiss Mr. Kurzweig?
No, I'm just excited that everybody's on board with it because I think it's a great idea too. So Bobby, thank you for all the work you've put in on this. I really appreciate it. And just as a parent of a swimmer, that camera that you got for us to be able to watch the winter swim seasons went over really huge. Everybody really appreciated that. So I want to take this moment to officially thank you for that, because I think that was awesome. So thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, I agree. I think they weren't very expensive. I had a colleague who told me they were doing it, and I jumped on it, and I agree. It was been a pretty nice an addition to be able to do that instead of Coach Kalinowski just holding his phone on the sideline trying to do.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah,
it was so bad. It was so tough.
It worked though, right? We were kind of in a pinch. We need to figure something out, and we figured it out.
Better than nothing. Better than nothing, man.
Right.
Dude, I'll take
Did
it.
we also use that solution at the middle school? We had talked about using that solution at the middle school.
Yeah, and we've had a couple. There's been a little issues with the one at the middle school, and we're trying to figure that out exactly. I think they think it's the Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi is a little spotty in the middle school gym, but we're not on the Wi-Fi at all in the pool. So I'm working with the coaches now to try to figure out how we can maybe get that fixed a little better. But there's only a couple games left with that as well. So we are using the same technology. We're having some issues with it, but we're trying to figure that out with Jim Roth and Doug and all that, just because they think it's the Wi-Fi, but we're not on the Wi-Fi at all. You're kind of on the camera's Wi-Fi from a point to point. So I don't know why they're having the trouble at the middle school.
I don't know if it's maybe like where because obviously I have a middle school basketball player too. I don't know if it's where the camera is. Like Quinn said, I mean, this is just what he said, that the kids who get on their phones try to go over the other side of the gym if they're in the gym because the reception is better over there. When I would record stuff or show stuff, because we'd bring in a little camera and broadcast. I know some spots are deader than others, but we'd be over by the boys' locker room entrance, and we'd set up over there, and we're able to broadcast stuff. So I don't know if it's just the zone.
That could be. Yeah,
And
because like I said, it's not the Wi-Fi, but you're right. If the cell phone coverage is also bad in there, that definitely is going to have a concern with that as well, because the Wi-Fi is spotty in the pool, but the cell service is good. And like I said, when Coach K hooks it up to his phone and opens the app, I mean, you've seen it. It works very, very well, and there's no issues. So
No issues at all, which is confounding, you know,
Yeah.
like,
yeah, we're working on it, trying to hopefully the next couple games that, like I said, I think there's only like 3 or 4 games left, but we're trying to figure it out.
it's okay.
I have one more question. So can the NFHS cameras in the stadium, can they help with, could we do graduation with them? Would they do graduation?
Yeah,
I'm just asking.
We could turn the camera on for that. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I believe, and I,
that was one of the selling points too with it, right, Bobby, is we could do other events.
that's correct. We could, and I'm almost positive that you could set that up as a certain platform so that you wouldn't need to have a subscription to view it. Like when you go into the system and I hit up like a practice isn't public, it's just for our people. There's a setup that you could put, maybe it's graduation, that would then people wouldn't need to pay to see that.
Great, thanks.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Kurzweg, for taking time out of your schedule to chat with us tonight, and you can now go back shoveling snow.
All right.
And, be careful. So thank you, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. I'll see you on Monday, Dr. Roach.
Monday, you think? My phone's blowing up as we're sitting here, and
Oh, geez.
and the trying to figure out how much snow is going to come starting at 10 o'clock tonight, and buses and the rain and the ice and virtual.
Sure.
Don't do a virtual, do a virtual. So,
Look
Bobby,
forward.
probably I don't know if we'll make the call tonight or not. I got to take a call after this, but if we call a virtual day, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe make like we've done before, a mid-morning call on athletics.
Okay.
Like, just going to see how it goes, because if we can't get the first part in, we've been pretty good about just kind of not biting off too much. I mean, daily today, you just bite the whole thing, but
right.
With these guys and trying to get a little bit of their season in, if we can get it open. If not, we can't, but we'll see.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.
thanks, Bobby.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Any comments from committee members? Anybody have any more comments to make?
Motion to adjourn.
No, we're not there yet.
The comment, excellent
We're
meeting.
not there yet, Stephen.
This was a great meeting. Thank you for setting it up. Every meeting is fantastic.
There's no
Great.
public here today. Dr. Roach, is there anything you want to say in conclusion? Thanks for getting those people lined up tonight. That was awesome. That was awesome.
No, that's the only question is, what are we thinking for March? Do we have another group on board that we were hoping to bring in? Do you want me to take dealer's choice and just figure out something, or you want to talk offline? Or?
Dana and Mike, do you want to think about that and email me?
Please.
The
Can you
sports
do
event.
that? What's that?
Oh, the winter sports teams, coaches?
Any sport.
Well, no, we're not going to bring in teams. We still have other extracurricular groups we want to get to, so we'll hold off on that. But think about it and just shoot me an email. Our next meeting is March 18th at 6 o'clock. So till then, till we meet again, which will be in a couple days. Thank you for your time, and motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
All right, bye, guys.
Hey, guys.